What's happening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Comeback Sports. We got 10 sports topics for you this week, as we always do. I am Pat, the shot caller, Flaherty. I'm joined by my partner, as always, Brandon, the coach, Perry. Brennan, how you doing this week, pal?
Pat, I'm doing pretty good today, having a great day and looking to continue it with a great show. Let's just keep this ball rolling.
Yeah, as usual, we talk about the month of April being crazy with sports, and it continues to carry on. We got 10 sports topics, a lot of different sports and different parts of the sports world we're going to get into tonight. But first off, before we get going, folks, as you can see at the bottom of the screen right there, our Twitter handles. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. We tweet out the links every single week of what topics we're going to be covering and the link itself to our YouTube page. And if you're watching us on YouTube right now, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And that'll help us as you will join us as one of our subscribers. And we'll make sure we'll mention your YouTube username if you subscribe to us, and then make a comment and let us know which number subscriber you are. So if you're number 32 or something like that, then let us know you're subscriber number 32. This is your subscriber name. We'll make sure to give you a shout out in the next show. But to start off tonight, our topic number one is going to be out of the NBA, and Jamal Murray, the point guard for the Denver Nuggets, obviously their second best player overall behind Nikola Jokic, tore his ACL the other night. He is out for the season. This is a massive blow to the Denver Nuggets, Brandon.
Yeah, we're talking about a big hit to really one of the better teams in the Western Conference right now, a team that was definitely going to be in the playoffs and in playoff contention, and they still will be, but now without one of their best players. And so it's going to be a hit. And I think, looking forward, can they compete with some of the other teams in the West now without basically their number one scorer and their number one energy guy with Jamal Murray? And we're talking about really, I think this is a guy that kind of flies under the radar for most NBA fans, but he is really one of the better NBA players out there. He can light it up. He can drop 40 on you without you even looking, without you even knowing. He can hit from any spot on the court. So we're talking about a guy that can shoot from the logo, but can also take you down low or attack the basket. He's just got a really great all-around game, and he's a pretty good defender too. So we're really talking about some really good minutes, good points that the Denver Nuggets are going to be missing going forward. And obviously, it's still good to have Nikola Jokic there, who is really one of the best centers in the NBA, in my opinion. I'd love to see, obviously, maybe the Celtics try to make a play for a player like that, but Denver Nuggets are not going to shop a player like that because Nikola Jokic is so good. And when you have both these guys on the court, it's just kind of like, hey, just let them do their thing because they are so good. And I think the Denver Nuggets have kind of got to see that over the last few years. But yeah, I think this is a big injury for this team going forward. Definitely hurts their title contention. And we're going to have to see who's going to step up on their roster. As we know, once somebody goes down on a roster, we need somebody to step up. So it's really who's going to be that next guy up. That's the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing with Denver right now is that, they have a pretty deep team. They have guys like Will Barton, and they have some other players that are very good players and not necessarily stars that could fill the void a little bit. Michael Porter Jr. has developed as a player. He came out of college. He had a bad injury. It's taken him some time to get going here in the NBA, but very good scorer. So, I think they can kind of make up the scoring punch there. They're, I think, fourth in the West right now. So I don't think they're going to drop out of the playoffs or anything like that. They have Jokic, who is he might be the top candidate for MVP now that Embiid's had some decent injuries and LeBron has as well. He's probably, him and Giannis are probably right there. But, so I think they'll make the playoffs, but they cannot win the title without Jamal Murray. I mean, I think that's pretty simple. There's no way that they can go into a playoff series with, a team like the Clippers, who seem to be sort of hitting their stride now. The Jazz, who have been one of the best teams in the NBA all year. Phoenix has such a good backcourt now. I mean, I just don't think they can hang with those teams in a playoff series if Jamal Murray is hurt, which he is now. So I think it'll be really tough for them to make any type of playoff run. They'll still make the playoffs, but losing him with a torn ACL, that ruins their title hopes. And they also obviously were going for the title this year when they made that trade for Aaron Gordon. He's another guy that can help you out scoring, but he's not a guy that's going to take over scoring for a game. And even Jokic, I mean, Jokic takes over a game. He does everything out on the floor, but there can be times where you can neutralize a big man like that, and he's going to pass out of double teams and everything like that. But you need another guy to kind of take over the scoring if Jokic isn't the one that night. And, like I said, Michael Porter Jr. might be one of those guys, but they don't really have that kind of player to kind of tandem with Jokic in a big playoff series after this torn ACL by Jamal Murray.
Yeah, no, I mean, to highlight your point, I believe Jokic had like a triple-double a few weeks ago, and I think he only had like 15 points with the triple-double. But he's just one of those players that can do it all, but he's not going to drop 40 or 50 like Jamal Murray can on any given night. And I guess really Jamal Murray is also one of those guys where he's just guaranteed buckets, guaranteed numbers, guaranteed digits. I mean, we're talking a guy that's just going to get guaranteed 25 plus a night every time he steps on the court. So this is definitely a big drop that they're going to have to fill. And as a coach, you're looking, okay, where can I fill these minutes on offense and defense? And who's going to step up, like I said? And is it going to be a multitude of guys? Are we going to have to play a couple of guys to try to fill in these minutes? Or is it going to be one big guy that comes in, or are we going to give Aaron Gordon more minutes in the small forward section, So it's really one of those things where as a coach, you're going to have to look to fill this void, obviously. But as a fan, I mean, we're missing out on one of the better NBA players and really one of the more exciting NBA players to watch. So it's really disappointing going forward. And obviously, this is one of those big injuries that is going to take usually over a year to recover from. And you normally don't see guys getting back to full speed until over a year plus. You do have those occasional guys like an Adrian Peterson who rehabs in like 6-7 months and comes back looking just sharp. But and we're hoping to see Odell and Saquon come back like that really, really soon. But it is a big injury. And so we're definitely prayers up to Jamal Murray, and hopefully he can recover from this fast. But yeah, the Denver Nuggets are going to be missing out on a big scoring threat day in and day out.